Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon. The last episode, we went and built up a bit of a town square. Well, kind of. And since then, I've been struggling to expand the fairy forest floor. We've got this little area here that I'm standing in, and as you can see, there's a little bit over by the buildings, but not much has really happened. I did kind of figure out what I want for the trees and such, but I'm still working that out. And as you can see, they're actually a little bit smaller. I think this is probably going to be a better size for building them. But I just do not have the magic to keep terraforming this right now. So I guess it's time for us to go do a few projects. There is a bunch of stuff that we have lying around that we just haven't taken care of. So let's head over to wherever we left the project box. I think it's over by the redstone pit, and see what we have to pull out of that. Alright, so I've managed to find our project box here, and there's quite a few different things that we have to do. Got a couple things here at the main base, which is just bringing in some new villagers, updating the tower, and a few other things. Oh, we got the stairs down to the wine cellar. But oh well, we're just gonna grab that, and I think just gonna go around the different areas and see what it needs doing, except for this one. I don't want to touch this one until we figure out the storage system. Alright, so here we are over at the main base. And let's see what we have to do over here. So, get this out when you bring in some new villagers, finish updating the tower to the new palette. Stairs to the wine cellar is done, so we can cross that off. Secret cellar entrance and expand the cellar. So, let's take a look at what we have down in the cellar. We have the stairs already down, and you know what? I think that the cellar is just large enough considering we don't use it. I think we're good. The secret cellar entrance is actually supposed to go here, and that's literally just going to be a piston door. Let's see, I should have redstone. 2 pistons now, and sorted mob drops. We do not have any slime. Fortunately, I know where there should be some slime. So, if we head out here and head down to our mine, I actually still probably need to finish this road. It's supposed to go all the way out to the villager breeder over there, but we never got around to it. It's not a big deal. Perfect. Fine. And more ores. There's actually more stuff underneath this now, too. We could probably go poke around and find out what's down there, but I think we're probably good for now. Alright, so with that now obtained, we can go get these in, and I'm going to need a bit of redstone. I think I have a little bit over here, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to be enough. Probably not. But I also need to figure out how to make one of these doors work, because it's been quite a while. So, I'm going to go get these pistons installed, see if I can't find some redstone floating around in my chests. I don't exactly know if there's any. Oh, hey, there's 3 pieces. That should be enough to start. So, I'm going to go get this set up, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I think I figured out a method that'll work for this. So, we have some redstone here that goes to one of our buttons, and all we need to do is just have a redstone torch here. That'll activate both of those pistons. Put a button there that'll just apparently deactivate the one because the button is right next to it. So what we need is a redstone line there, stone button there, and that will open the door. Or at least it should. Oh, good. We still need to work on being able to get through it because it's a little small squeeze with the trapdoor there. But it looks like we have a working piston door. So now we just gotta fill this in so that we can hide all of the redstone. Because even though this is a secret tunnel, I still don't want to have to look at the redstone. There we go. If we decide to take the secret way into our house that actually goes all the way to our nether portal, we don't have much cause to use this. About the only reason would be is if we have a bunch of creepers outside the door, but I've lit up the area pretty well. But it does exist. Maybe we'll decorate this tunnel and make it look kind of damp and dingy and everything else kind of not used. But I think that works well. This actually goes quite a ways. This is underneath the floor of the barn here. And then down over here, this leads out to our crop farm. And this leads to... Oh, this is about the skeleton spawner we haven't used in forever. Because we're never over here. Anyway, I think that is that part done. So now, I guess the next thing to do is look at those villagers. For that, we actually need to look at what we are actually missing. Looks like we need potato and carrot farmer here. We still have a beetroot farmer somehow, and a wheat farmer and one guy to go in the center. Other than that, though, I think the other thing we're missing is the shepherd that's supposed to be over here, and the smiths, who are also supposed to be over here. Let's actually get our anvil back in. There we go. These guys all got cut by chunk borders, but I have heard tell that that bug might be fixed. So, I suppose it's time for us to go fishing for villagers. And the reason we need to go fishing is because all of our grown villagers are right here in this little pit here. It keeps them safe. So all we need to do is just drop this boat on a lead down in there. And there we go. We've caught 2 villagers. Now we just need to get them out. And to do that, we need to go apparently suffocate them in a wall. Oh dear. Come on. You need you to jump out of the pit here. Guess we go up to her. There we go. Now they're out. So now we just need to get them onto the ice road here and swing them over to our base, because I don't think we can convert them to professions in another. We'll try though, and there's no other blocks around here, so they should have connected instantly. And nothing. Alright. We're gonna have to deal with taking them into the overworld. This should be fun. Alright. We've managed to get both of them through the portal, and now we're stuck in here. So, fortunately we added that door. So, let's go back through the tunnel to get out through the main house. Okay, come on fellas. You have a bit of a journey to make, so that you stop being fishermen. It'd be something that's actually useful for me to use. So I just realized after we drag them pretty much halfway back to the villager breeder that there is probably an easier way to do this. Namely, if we go get a piston, we should be able to push the barrels that these guys are linking to, and hopefully get them to delink from them. So I'm going to go get a piston, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so we managed to get 1 villager to actually change into a farmer, our potato guy right here. We still need to trade with him, but we've got plenty of potatoes to do that. And the other guy decided to become a cleric and is a fisherman again. So I'm going to try shifting the barrels in our house around a bit, because I've installed this piston here for that exact purpose. And hopefully he's linked to one of those, and we'll switch to one of the much closer composters. I can always hope. He might just be broken. Alright, it only took us an hour, but the second villager is now also a farmer, and we've gotten him in with the wheat. So now all that remains to finally fix this farm is to get someone for carrots and hopefully snag a nitwit to go stand in the middle. Ideally a nitwit, that way we don't have to give them a station, but in theory anything will work. So go fish up another couple villagers and hope that they link to the crafting stations I put outside the door to hopefully make this a little bit easier. Alright, so several dead villagers later, and we are still no closer to finishing up that crop farm, let alone populating the rest of the base. But we do have the nitwit out, so at least we can hopefully get the farm working again. Ignore the giant pillar bone blocks. That was an attempt to try and get them to delink from those barrels, but unfortunately it did not work. So now we just gotta do the tricky part here and get this guy in. The problem with this is that the nitwit here needs to go into the center, so we have to somehow get him in there past all of the other villagers, which I suppose we can just go through the spot for the carrot villager, because that is still unoccupied, and apparently is getting caught on carpets. Alright, so we've gotten him as far as we can go without letting any of the other villagers out. So it looks... There we go. Now in. Now we just need to retrieve the rest of the wood planks, which all went into the storage system. Alright, so we found one, and we're going to have to get rid of some items, potentially to find the rest. But in theory, that should allow all of these guys to send food to him, because he shouldn't have anything in his inventory unless the breeder's broken or he managed to somehow pick something up. But hopefully that works. And now we just need to convince the other guy that he really wants to buy carrots. So I'm going to keep working on frustrating villagers off camera, and hopefully these guys decide to behave. So they are villagers. That is a very big ask. So several hours later, and our villager here is still a fisherman. I'm getting really frustrated with these guys because there's no barrels anywhere near here. I've taken them all out. I took them out of the tower there, and the only ones that are in this area at all are all the way in our house. And he should be far enough away that he doesn't see them in D-links. So I don't know what's going on. We still need the one more farmer. And I actually haven't checked to see if this is actually working at all. But yeah, our villager is not delinking. This guy at one point decided to become a toolsmith, but I didn't like his trade, so he's now a fisherman again, until he decides to randomly delink. So, we are going to take a break from the villagers. The only other thing I had really for this area was connecting up the 3 parts of our road here, the one through the main part of our town, the one that goes to pretty much all of our other areas, and the one that is way over there by that bridge that goes to the redstone pit. I was also thinking maybe eventually putting a road into the mansion and maybe doing something over there, but I'm still working on my ideas for that. And quite honestly, right now, I am just too frustrated with these villagers, and we need to move on. So we'll just follow our road here, and the next thing we have is the raid farm, which I need to go look up how I'm supposed to fix that. Either that or get a warden or 4 up there to take care of the Ravagers. The issue is that Ravagers don't fall down a 2x2 hole anymore, so I either need to put some powdered snow, which is going to take forever, or completely redesign the raid farm, which is probably going to take a lot longer than just putting powdered snow, but is going to, in the long run, work a lot faster. We also have the biosphere tower here, which last I checked, we need to clean up the chests and get some vines in. But I have some other plans for that as well, so we're going to hold off on doing that, which means that the next area that we actually have a project to work on is the ruined town. So the town itself is actually all done. The build's pretty much all done. The thing that I want to add, though, are these soul lanterns and oak fences here. You can see I've got some in on some of the paths, and I kind of ran out of lanterns earlier, so I may have had Puck gather some soil so we can make more, and I made sure to grab some iron. But as you can see, these are just very simple little lampposts, just 3 fences, one going out, and a lantern. And I decided for soul lanterns because I think they just look a lot better. And also the blue fire just kind of fits the swamp. Now we do have these slightly fancier arches here that I haven't quite decided how often I want to put these along the path. The problem is that each of our bridges has a different number of posts, so we can't just have the same number of arches going across at even intervals. So we're gonna have to fiddle around and play with that. So, since this is mostly just a very repetitive thing of putting down fence posts and hanging lanterns, I'm gonna go get the rest of these in. I definitely have enough soil, to finish this, and I made sure to bring several stacks of oak, so there should be enough of that. So the only thing that remains is getting this in. So I'm gonna go get that set in. We're not really gonna bother with the arches in the middle for now until I can estimate where they should be. So let's get the rest of these posts in, and then I'll be back to show off the result. And there we go. That is all of the lanterns here. I decided to show this off at night because I think it looks much more impressive at this time because you can actually see all the lights. Let's see. Will RTX decide to work? The answer is not properly. And the one thing that actually somewhat fixes it later, and there we go. That is very nice. Lights in the lanterns there look perfect. Actually, deal with that creeper. Hi, zombie. Hi, creeper. I know we can't see anything right now because of the dark, but on this path, that just looks absolutely amazing. Oh, I love that. Effectiveness of the water, beauty of the lights here, just is perfectly illuminated. I love this. So nice. But I think with that actually finishes up the Swamp Village with everything I wanted to do. There's nothing else. We already cleaned up the chests. So let's go sleep in the nearby bed, which is actually for raiding the ancient city, which is right under here. That was an interesting spawn. So anyway, let's take a look at this during the day. It's not quite as impressive because you don't have the glowiness of the lights, but I'm quite happy with how that turned out. It still looks pretty nice with the blue lights, so I'm not complaining, but That's everything for the Swamp Village. So we can actually put our first book onto the bottom row, signifying that it's done. So with the Swamp Village now actually completed, our next area is over here at the Extinct Research Lab. Now, there's actually pretty much only two projects to do around here. The first is to get in a bunch of corals into our exhibits down here. I've got a box that I've forgotten about several times that is got a few corals in it, not much, as well as pretty much all of my sponges. But I'm not exactly feeling like building up a bunch of custom reefs all through here. Pretty much exclusively, probably, to this first area and maybe a bit for the second. Doing reefs for this entire area is going to take a lot of coral, and I don't particularly feel like mining all of that or trusting and waiting for the wandering trader to show up with some. So we're going to leave this for now. The second project over here involves finishing up the villager trading hall, and well, I'm still kind of upset with villagers from earlier. So we're going to just skip this area and head on to the next one. So moving along our road, we decided to skip Stardust Valley because pretty much everything we have for over there is all terraforming and building up a tunnel, which is all the way over here. Plus several of our tools could use a bit of mending, so instead, we're going to be working over here. But since it takes a while for experience to come up here and gather in enough quantities to actually quickly mend our tools, we are going to be working on stuff down here. Now, we do need a lot more ink to get some dark prismarine to finish off the tunnel with what we can get with where our conduit is over here. So we can't really do that. But what I think we're going to do is instead work on the one wing that we have down in the monument and get that finally decorated. So, while I wait for more experience to gather, let's go see what we can do with that last bit of the monument. Okay, so let's see what we have for this space. I think the first thing that we need to do is fill in that one block area all around the side there with some more prismarine. That way we don't have a one block area that we just can't really do anything with. There we go. So, what I'm thinking is we'll have a kitchen over here. Okay, so there we go. That's pretty good. Looks like it's missing something though. Maybe a sink between the two different stoves? That's better. And now all we need to do is figure out lighting it because I don't want to keep all of these sea lanterns here. So we're probably going to need to put in a lantern over there as well. There we go. And so now I think what we're going to do is we'll have in this wall here, we'll have a little pass-through that we'll just make out of the trapdoors, and that will pass through into a dining room. That'll be right in that corner over there. There we go. It's pretty much just a table right now. I don't really have the stuff to put in chairs. I think this is all right. Maybe we'll move it over one just for a bit more symmetry, but I think that looks pretty good. Now, we don't really have much more room, but I'm thinking we'll have some storage along the back wall, just a little closet. Excellent, we can probably put a lot of our extra stuff in there. And our final area for the last corner is going to be, I think, a greenhouse. I always like putting a greenhouse in places. And why not one in here? Okay, that's a good start, but it needs a little more greenery because that's kind of brown and looks like it could use a little bit of water for a pond as well. There we go, that's better. So now all that remains is to get some little walkway areas. Let's actually move up the walls so we can actually see better. And so now all we need is just some plant growing areas for growing up little saplings and everything else in the main area. Perfect. So now all that remains is to get the chandelier in on the ceiling. Perfect. So I think that should be pretty much all of the decoration that we need to do for this area. It looks pretty good, looks pretty well lit up. And now, all that really remains to get the rest of the walls in. Alright, so with this area done now, I think it looks really nice. We don't have any chairs in here, but I do love how that little kitchen turned out. I don't exactly have a way to open that door for the fridge, but doesn't really matter. We're probably not going to actually store anything in there because we do have this storage here, which we should probably move some of our stuff into. But other than that, I do like this. I would put an axolotl in here, but it's just going to crawl out and probably forget how to get back into the water. So let's not do that. But with this area done, I think that is everything for this whole area, except for one, fixing the farm so that the raid part actually works, and getting the tunnel that is supposed to go all the way back to Stardust Valley. However, since getting a lot more ink sacs and prismarine is going to take forever, not to mention we also have to move that conduit, let's move on to our very last area. And that would be the Nether Hub Hyperliber. We do have a few things along here. I think this needs some more warped stems and some more materials to take it all the way to the portal. We need to expand the portal, etc. But what I'm thinking we're going to do to end this off is we're going to walk down here where we have our tunnel to the fairy forest. Now, we do have other tunnels that we need to get done, like this one to the mesa. But this one is one I do actually have an idea of what I want to do, and I think it's going to look quite nice. So if we get out our box of materials here, we have warped stems, gilded blackstone, and warped wart. And then to light this whole tunnel, we're going to use some shroom lights. So we're going to do our same 3x3 design that we do for pretty much all of our tunnels here. And for that, we're just going to do something like this. So this pattern is just going to repeat all the way down the tunnel, and I think that'll look really nice, kind of whimsical-y and foresty. Now, along the side here, I think I want to use some quartz brick and some stone brick and mossy stone brick walls mixed in together, but I don't actually have any of those, so I think we're just going to focus on getting in the walls for now. So I'm going to go get as much of this in as I can. I don't actually have that much warped stem blocks because these take forever to get, and I don't particularly enjoy chopping down a bunch of trees. So we should be able to get a few nice repeats so that this gets at least started, and I'll be back once that is done. And there we go. It's not much because we didn't have much of the warped stems, but it is a start. I did go to our trading hall to get some of the quartz, and well, we actually got almost enough to finish the section that we got mined out so far, which is kind of cool. So we probably need to head back over there to do another trading session, get more of these quartz bricks, but without the warp stems to finish the walls of the tunnel, there's not really much point right now. So, I know that this isn't quite done, but I think for now, this is what we're going to have. Maybe leaving it unfinished will help persuade me to actually get the rest of the warp stems gathered up, because these are quite a pain to get. So I think that that is where we're going to leave this for now. But with that, that has been pretty much all of our areas, except the fairy forest, which, you know what, this is pretty much going back there, so I think I'm going to head back there to go take care of some more of that terraforming. But with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And consider subscribing if you want to see more of what's going on here. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.